Seán Crowe, you have about 4.5 minutes.
Good morning. Mary Lou spoke of the state of fear in our own community and following a series of horrific murders that are drug related. My own community has also seen many people murdered over the years. And many people don't like me talking about it, and you'll be probably aware of this yourself, Chair, but they say this is a negative issue, crime. They feel it reflects badly on their lives and their area. Recently, I highlighted the fact that not only parents but also grandparents and grandmothers were being forced to pay thousands of euros to clear alleged drug debts of their children or grandchildren. And I was on, I think, the first anti-drug march in the 80s in this city, and it wasn't just about stopping the open dealing and the impact this was having on many working class communities. It was also about highlighting the lack of services for those wanting to get help and support for their addiction. And thankfully, rehabilitation and supports have now become more and more available. I've been on the local drugs task force practically since it was established, and I supported the establishment of local drug and rehabilitation services, and I've argued against bigots and fools who tried to block them in the belief that there was no drug problem in their area, or that by establishing supports would somehow encourage more addicts or dealers into their areas. Addiction services have vastly improved, but funding and supports were gutted over successive budgets, all at the time when the demand for them was at an all-time high. We have a situation now at the moment that in my own community that there's actually open drug dealing going on. The successful drugs unit in Dáil has seen huge reductions, supposedly because all Gardaí now are involved in tackling the issue. Many estates in my constituency have open drug dealing. Some of it involves children who act as runners. Some vulnerable children have been used to store or sell drugs, and some are involved in taking drugs. I dealt with one case where a pipe bomb was left at a house of a 15-year-old, supposedly because he had a fight with another 15-year-old drug runner. People shouldn't have to live in a neighbourhood where they're frightened, terrified to leave their own home, or unable to ask children even to move away from their home or garden. But that is the reality in some areas of this city and some areas of my constituency. Drug dealers, many who have never worked a day in their lives, drive around in flash cars and buy up shops and businesses. The Criminal Assets Bureau doesn't seem to be even remotely interested. Maybe they are, but sure, I'm only a TD or someone active in the community, and probably the last person to be updated on matters like this. There are dealers who are operating for decades, and you never hear of them being stopped, never mind being lifted or charged. There's an open drug dealing that residents have to walk by, live beside day after day. Their children growing up witness this as somehow normal. Some crimes like burglaries, you mentioned yourself in your speech, are also linked to the drug problem. Should people have to live in an environment where they're frightened, afraid to leave their own home after dark, or stay mute while drug dealers drive about? My constituency is not unusual, Minister, but people ask me, what are you doing, or what are you proposing to do so differently to stop this? And maybe we do need something like a citizens' charter, a commitment that no family would have to live in fear, intimidated to speak out or reclaim back their own community. And maybe that's something that we as elected representatives from our own constituency maybe could start off with. We have a Garda station that is not fit for purpose. There was plans drawn up about 20 years ago, and those plans are still sitting on someone's desk, still waiting for that. The Garda are spread over the different parts. Some of them are in a hotel across the road. The community Garda. It's not suitable. It's not suitable for people come into the Garda station who try to give their own circumstance of what crime they suffered and so on. So we've a lot to do, and I suppose this is what the debate is about. Let's start looking at things differently. Let's start pulling together. Let's start coming up with new ideas, new plans, and maybe as elected representatives in Dublin South West, let's us maybe come together, put our heads together, and come up with some solutions to these problems.
Thank you. Thanks, Deputy Crowe.